Right, it's time to get back to some Transformer reviews. And this is going to be the last week I'm doing this for a little while because I have other things that I want to review where you may like it and you may hate it. And I really don't care. So anyway, here we go. Yes, we're back to the Studio Series for 2 more figures, which I'll showcase the other figure in its own time. But this being number 10 of the Studio Series, here is Autobot Jazz. Anyway, let's take a look at his package as partake of every single video review on this channel. Very nice artwork of Jazz, which they were using back in 2007 anyway. I knew this artwork looked pretty familiar, especially when I googled it the other day. Anyway, number 10, Studio Series, Autobot Jazz, Autobot Logo. Red is powered right behind the camera, as you can see. Hey, what happened to my hair? Anyway, Transformers logo from 2007, ages 8 and plus. Hasbro's logo up above that, Takara Tomy, dual branding people. Transformers going up to the top right corner where we have the Misaligned Generations logo on the side of the packaging. And here's a different take on the artwork of Jazz, as you can see. It's like doing like some kind of punch here, or it's getting ready to do a punch at a Decepticon, I guess. And this side here, he's just using his blaster, this shield blaster thing, which I still don't know what exactly it is. Maybe it is a shield blaster. Anyway, we do have the nice Autobot logo, which is imprinted actually perfectly dead center on the side of the open window packaging here, which is bing, pretty good. Right, down below that, we've got the authentic Transformer stamp, which, to remind you, if it doesn't say authentic, it's a knockoff. And then on this side here, we've got where most people are going to display their packages if they keep them in their packages, or, you know, just keep the packages, period. We have a nice picture of Autobot Jazz, Studio Series number 10, Deluxe class, and then onto the back end here we got some specific information and the requirements. I must go through this anyway. We got this and that and this. Yeah, that's my way of saying it. Anyway, we do have Jazz in his robot mode, Jazz in his car mode, showing its 19 steps of transformation from robot to car to robot, and so on. We do have some other information about the backdrop here, which is included, which is nonetheless Mission City Battle. Again, this makes the 4th time, does it not? Anyway, here's some other figures available from the set, which we will take a look at, spoiler alert, in the next video. There we go, that's it for the packaging. So now that I got Jazz all centered in the screen of the camera, why don't we take a look at other contents he comes with. Sorry to tease you guys like this, but I do it all the time. You should be used to it by now, but anyway. Yeah, this is the only thing that he really comes with outside of that weapon there. It's instructions, which are pretty good. And just like always, I'll show them off. Don't forget. Don't forget. Otherwise, people are going to get really PO'd with me. There's some more on the back, which will have to go this way, because it makes sense, because it's numbered. Yep. And there you go. Alright, so let's talk about Jazz. Jazz looks awesome in his very small little sports car from 2007, which I just removed the weapon just because it gets in the way. I want you to actually see the car itself, especially the spoiler back here, which is pretty nice. It's all very nice, very thin. I know some people would be worried about the quality of the plastic being so thin, but I gotta say, he holds up pretty well, especially when you got him transformed properly. You don't have that big of a gap from the doors to the back side of the car, as you can see. Yep. Some people seem to forget a certain point in the transformation of this figure, so they always have this big gap at the doors in the back of the car. I'm here to show that off once and for all, so no one else ever makes that mistake again. Right. We do have some nice working wheels here, which if you got him transformed properly and aligned just right, he rolls pretty good. All 4 wheels, especially on this very smooth surface, which is pretty glossy. Yeah, so works out pretty good. The silver is very nice. I'm very glad that they painted this figure all silver for his car mode, because if they didn't, I would feel like I'm being cheated here when it comes to having to pay so much for very little. And I mean very little, because let me go ahead and show you guys. Little Scorponok here from the Studio series. So yeah, as you can see, Scorponok is a pretty good size compared to Jazz here in this vehicle form. And let's go leaps and bounds with something else. Here you go. Here's Nemesis Prime from Power of the Primes. This is actually a pretty good scale between these two. But when it comes to the Studio series and their alternate forms compared to Jazz, it's a joke. It is. So, right, let's show this off again. His weapon can actually be stored if you turn it the right way. There's a tab here, and there's a slot very much back here where you're just gonna slot it right in. It should hold in place just fine. Of course, I got it misaligned, but there we go. Now it's straightforward. And as you can see, he's got like a, I don't know, a Cybertronian satellite dish on the back of his spoiler. Why not? It is what it is. Right. That's pretty much your weapon storage. There's not much else to really say. I mean, paint job, again, is pretty nice. Really good for a figure that costs us 20 bucks and is very small that you can put him in the pocket of your pants. So moving right along with the transformation of little Jazz here, it's pretty compact, but I will say there are some parts that can sort of tick you off the wrong way. I'm not kidding here. But what you want to do is, first of all, you want to untab the door here and slide it down. Do the same thing on this side. It works really great if you got fingernails. There we go. Just like that. And now that that frees up, all this here should be able to split this apart. Should be able to. It's a tight connection. It doesn't want to budge sometimes, but there we go. Do the same thing on this side here. As it gets stuck. There we go. So free it out just like that. Slide them back just a little bit as they're on these weird hinges, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Come back here to the back of the car and separate the legs, bring them down all the way, just like that. Want to take the front bumper of the car and you want to untab it. Bring it out as far as you can get it, because it's a little tight on my figure, but then you rotate it and then you jot it right back in like that to raise his arms up, so that way we can take the front of the car and rotate it around just like this. Right. Next step is to come over here and untab this piece back here. Now I'm going to show this off like I said, so I don't make anyone else look like a fool when they go about transforming this guy. And hey, what's going on here? The door panels in the back of the car don't all line up flush. Alright, so what you do is you see this hole right here where I'm pointing at on his butt. And there's also a tab right here in the middle of the hood of the car. What you want to do is get those to actually line up. And then get them to tab in. And they will make a nice click. Just like that. That should take care of that problem once and for all. Don't forget it. Right, back to the transformation. So, untab all this again. On this double hinge here, bring all this down like so. Right. Okay, flip his back spoiler section of the car inward like this. Just like that. Okay. Just 90 degrees right here on this hinge. Right here to his waist. And then we're going to take these clips right here. And they're going to clip onto the side of the car right here. Just like this. You might have to get your fingers in there and just work it around, because it is a very tight connection. But there we go. Just like that. Come down here to the legs and rotate this up like so. Make sure this is back first like that on this hinge here, and then flip this all up and it should tab in. Do the same on this side here. Flip that up and flip up his feet. If positioned right, should work just fine. If not, something's wrong. There we go. Come back here and don't forget to flip down his heel spurs like so. Rotate down the backpack because we're done with that. Okay. Angle his arms just right because This is the part that kind of gets me sometimes. I can't really figure out how to get them to straighten out, but apparently it straightened out itself as I was talking. Flip out his hand, come over here and flip out his other hand, and readjust this side here so it's straight again. I don't know how it works, but hey, it's magic. There we go. And the last thing to do is to come over here and hopefully, if you've got fingernails, flip out his head. And here is, lo and behold, Studio Series Autobot Jazz in his robot mode. And he's amazing. I am not gonna lie, I love this figure. Not as much as I love Studio Series Bumblebee, but I will say he is pretty dang good. Now, I know a lot of people would complain about the backpack. For such a small little guy here, it really doesn't bother me that much. I mean, what else were they supposed to do with this, huh? If they were able to remove it, maybe? Use it as a shield or something? But that wouldn't be accurate to the movie because he never had a shield, unless you count this thing his weapon of choice. Right. So anyway, you have this hinge here where you can bring this down, and you have options with this. You can actually put it in his left hand using this tab here and give him a normal kind of blaster, even though it's still got a shield to it. You have an option there, or as like in the movie with this weird looking hand here, you can flip this back and you got a tab, and then what you can do is, once I have this, I think it's, yeah, no, it's like this, it's fine. So with it this way, there's a hole, and you know what happens, we put tabs in the holes, so it's a very tight tab, but once you get it in there, it holds pretty good. And I know some people don't actually like this, but this is pretty accurate. This is pretty much when he was fighting Megatron to his very end, which was like in 5 seconds, I guess. So there you have that. I cannot figure a way to actually get this to store anywhere around the figure for not in use. I guess maybe you could, maybe, no, I guess there is no weapon storage for it in robot mode. Anyway, let's take a look at the figure. I'm going to raise this up just a little bit because I got it so low, but let's take a look at his head sculpt. I love the visor, very nice. I love the face, period. It's definitely Jazz. I know a lot of people don't like the Michael Bay designs, but this is one figure, or should I say one character out of the movie, where I feel like they nailed his G1 pretty good. I mean, there's not much else that I can really say about that. I mean, that is Jazz. And then, of course, we got all that nice silver. We got some nice details with some gold paint here on the shin of his legs. Of course, again, we got a lot of junk going on back here in the trunk. The side of the doors of the car make up his forearms, which is pretty cool. I forgot to flip this out, my bad. There we go. And, it's a good figure. That's all I can really say. One thing that I'm not so sure about is his feet. I don't recall them being this small in robot mode in the film. Maybe it's me, maybe they are, but I don't know. It's just that one thing that kind of gets to me there. Anyway, let's go for the articulation on the guy now. He does have a ball jointed head. He also has a hinge joint due to transformation where you can get some up and down like that and have him look so far back. Pretty cool. Do have hinge joints here and there at the shoulders that you can get a little bit of a butterfly joint effect going on here, so maybe you can get his arms across if you want to take the time to do it. You do have a swivel joint as well. You do have that hinge joint above that for this much inward and outward. You do have single jointed elbows. It does get 9 degrees of bend. You also have a ball joint, which does give him just a little bit more. Not completely 180, but it's pretty good. There's a hinge joint due to transformation for his hands. Nothing at the waist due to transformation, and because of the clip here, it wouldn't even be possible. And then we got some ball joints for his legs, so you do get this much kicking forward. You do get this much going back, which that's not too bad for all this going on back here. And to give you the full test of the JCVD split, it is possible. There you have it. Ding, 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 ding. Right. So we do have a thigh swivel joint as well. We got single jointed knees that does get 9 degrees of play, so that's nice. And you got your ankle rocker pivot, believe it or not. yeah, and it's a pretty good split there. As you can see, get this much out of him by as much as you can get out of his feet in the ankle rocker tilt. So, pretty good. And then, of course, if you want to count this as articulation, you do have some movement here at these very tight heels. He'll hold up. I had him holding up just fine earlier. There we go. It's because I keep messing with this very loose platform. But yeah, he holds up pretty good on his own without the heel spurs. But if you want to guarantee that he's not going to fall over anytime soon, by all means, flip the heel spurs back out. Alright, so let's do some real size comparisons for at least robot mode. That way I don't have to transform my studio series back and forth again, which is a total nightmare. But anyway, starting off with the smallest, here is little Scorponok again. As you can see, compared to Jazz, meh. There you have that. Now we're just going to go out of order because I'm just going to grab them as the way they are on the shelf. Here's Autobot Ratchet, Ironhide, Bumblebee, and of course the heroic leader of the Autobots, Optimus Prime. And the gain is finally all here. If you're going by the very first film, of course. Continuing on, here's Decepticon Stinger, Crowbar, Thundercracker, Decepticon Brawl, Air Commander Starscream, Decepticon Blackout, Voyager Megatron, and finally Dinobot Grimlock. Right, so the very last thing that we need to look at is, of course, the backdrop that comes with this set. And I'm very glad that it actually is sturdy cardboard. It's not as flimsy as Crowbars. I don't know how many more times I gotta mention that, but to say that way too many times, I have to discuss the fact way too many times that this is the exact same backdrop that we've been getting for the Deluxe figures over and over and over again, starting with Ratchet. I'm so sick of the Mission City Battle backdrop already. It's just, it's so overused. It's like, you know, repaints of Transformer figures of the exact same mold over and over again, except for a retooling of the head. Yeah, you know. Let's test it. Why not? We should, as always. And as you can see, Jazz holds up to it pretty good. It's not falling over. It's not tilting back on the guy. Well, except for maybe his backpack. If I get him adjust just right, get his heel spurs down. And there we go. Now he's not touching it. And it's pretty much flat on the ground now. So, it's okay. It looks pretty good with the figure. The only thing is, I'm sick of the Mission City Battle backdrop. But I will complete the look of this by giving him his weapon, because there's a war going on here in the background of the backdrop. But hey, we need to make it look convincing that he's there. And let's give him a dynamic pose for the thumbnail of this video. And there we go. I know, he should actually be on top of the backdrop, but they don't make them so big enough where you can actually display your figures in certain poses that you want to do. Even if you want to create certain scenes from the movie, it's not enough space. So basically, the only way to get your figures to stand up on these things, minus Crowbar because of his dreads in the back, but the only way to really do it is to get the figures to just stand up straight. That's the only way that they can be displayed on these things. That's why I'm always having to push them down in front of these backdrops every time I review the figures, because again, not enough space. Maybe for his car mode, but I'm not going to take the time to figure that one out. Maybe someone's already done it on their video, so if you want to check that out, more power to you. But I've pretty much given my 2 cents about this guy. The fact is, he's pretty cool for such a small, compact figure, and I mean very small. Anyway, I was going to do it for this video. It's been a dragged out one for such a small guy, but there was a lot to say about him. Regardless, pretty cool. Don't want to miss him. Pick him up if you're really into the studio series. Anyway, that's going to do it. Questions or comments, you know what to do. Hit it down below in the comment section of the video. If you like today's video review, hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to give me a sub up. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down and don't forget to throw in the towel. And until the next video review, this is the unprofessional toy reviewer Red is Power signing off, saying thank you very much for watching this, and I'll see you whenever you see me. But you, I don't want to see you anymore. No more Mission City battles, for Christ's sakes.